My name is Whamae Boayue, AKA Coach Wha. I am the founder and CEO of the Mark Total Body Wellness Network.
Health is wealth.
The blueprint of my life is for all out there to see that you too can overcome. And you too can achieve abundance, prosperity, peace, and everything that God has always had for you, that you can manifest that in your life.
Growing up at her grandmother's side, Whamae was infused with an entrepreneurial fire at a young age.
So I was born in Monrovia, Liberia, West Africa. My mother, Christine Clinton, already had 3 children before me. I was the last of her 3 at 19 years old. My father, Whamae Boayue, was a teenager. And so I was born to teen parents who were trying to figure their lives out.
Well, the first thing that grabbed me was, I'm a father, and everything, the bangs, the surge of blood, everything just ran through. I was just so elated. She was my first child, and as a matter of fact, my only child. It gave me that warmth feeling, and immediately the thought of, now I need to lay out a platform. I need to lay out a foundation for her growth.
I also had a powerful grandmother. Her name was Betty Carter. And Betty Carter was a Black Native American woman who went back to Africa and created her own legacy. So my grandmother was an entrepreneur. She owned the country's first garbage company. And here I was, while my parents were trying to figure things out, being raised by my entrepreneurial grandmother. And so I got to watch her travel all over the world, doing business. The country went into a war, and here I was at 9 years old, leaving Liberia, and I haven't been back. There was a place in my childhood where there was struggle, of course, but I can honestly say that I was raised by a beautiful family and a matriarch who taught me to not only survive, but to thrive in life.
At 19, she transformed a hidden health crisis into the launchpad for her lifelong journey in wellness.
My journey began when I was about 19 years old. I ended up in Chicago. I was with my son's father through a series of different ups and downs and relationships, and I get this excruciating pain in my lower abdominals. So I went to the doctors, and they told me that I had an ovarian cyst and that I would need surgery. And so my son's father and I were talking, and he said, hey, I know a naturopath that you can talk to, and you can learn a little bit more about some natural remedies that could possibly, heal that, dissolve the cyst. And so I met with the doctor, Dr. Rhymes. He told me straight up, he said, listen, if you don't change the way that you live and that you eat, by the time you are the age that I am now, you're going to have a lot of health problems. And so that scared the heck out of me. So when I met with the naturopath and he gave me another solution, I took that. It was one of the most impactful moments. I remember he did acupuncture on me. So he took me down my first juice cleanse, and it was for 30 days, but guess what? The cyst dissolved in 7 days. In 7 days, so I didn't have to have surgery, and there began my wellness journey.
Just as her story was taking flight, Whamae met a challenge that would showcase her unshakable strength.
After the dissolving of the cyst, I became pregnant, which led his father and I into a marriage. When I went into the hospital, they're doing the ultrasound and they said, "Whamae, your baby's heart is not beating." That was a profound moment in my life. I had to give birth to a baby that was unalive. And I remember my father coming into the hospital room to see me, and the sun shined so bright in that hospital room. And my father embraced me, and of course I was weeping, but I felt the presence of God. That sun coming in that room gave me hope. And about 6 months later, I found out I was pregnant again with another little boy. That little boy is my son, Mandakar Saki. So Mandakar means let us travel, which is a Timni name from Sierra Leone. So I was told by Grandpa, I hope that's real. And his middle name, which is a Sanskrit name, Saki. And Saki means the inspiration that beauty gives. Sadly, our marriage ended with his father, and I became a single mother.
Growing up was very fun. There was a lot of activities I did with my mom, like play soccer or go to the park. We would always be very creative and artistic.
And in single motherhood, I became a hustler. I just started figuring out how I was able to make money, take care of my son, and also be there for him. So I worked night shifts so that when he got off of school, I was there, I was, present with him. And so there began the journey of single motherhood.
In her darkest moment, a flash of faith lit the way and set the tone for everything she'd build next.
I did become an ordained minister, and so Mondi grew up in the midst of me finding myself spiritually. I was at a prayer meeting, and as I'm in the midst of praying, I heard the mark. And then I opened my Bible, Philippians 3:14, which says, I press towards the mark of the high calling in Christ. I want to be as spiritual and pious as I can, but God said, no, you're going forward. And I began to see that I had a calling and I had a voice and I needed to get out there. I knew early on that I was called to transform lives. And that is very distinctive with what I do as a holistic wellness and movement coach. So I came out the gate with the mark as a brand that was really focused on building legacy and moving people in the purpose from the inside out. So my main message was, hey, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in life, you need to be healthy. You should not be trying to build your dream or birth something without first that inner work within you.
What began as one woman's quest for healing exploded into a movement empowering thousands.
I began training, I got my certifications, went to school for dietetics, and I just did a lot of things to educate myself. And through that, I began to build tools. I began to help my family members. I began to help my friends. And so by the time I was in my 30s, I birthed the Mark Total Body Wellness Network. My mission is to give people the solutions that they desperately need in order to build their legacy and in order to achieve their dreams. I do that through unlocking the tools that help people heal their bodies nutritionally, through movement, and also personal development.
She then launched a members-only club, forging a new path for anyone ready to level up their wellness.
E is for empowerment. 3 are the 3 elements that we really dive into to activate a person's transformation within 90 days. And what we do is we take the 3 most important elements of the Mark. First, we have Mark Fit, And Mark Fit allows our members to go into portals where they get their tools for fitness. We have the Mark Fit app where they can log in and get their workouts every day. We also have educational tools about fitness. So we take them through 3 phases within Mark Fit, and that is the form phase, the endurance phase, and the build phase. Form phase introduces a person to Pilates, breath control, proper form, learning how to move along anatomical planes, everything fitness, foundational, you can imagine. As they get through that and they begin to get in tune with their bodies and with their movement, they then move into the endurance phase. And that is where we begin to add some high intensity interval training and some other elements of fitness. And then we move them into the build phase. This is where they really get to learn how to use these machines that I see some of y'all out there with the terrible form.
5 years ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes. My A1C was 10.9. Even on days when you don't feel like it, days when you just want to give up, days that you want to quit, that's when you can't quit. This is where I am now, from a 10.9 down to a 6. And when I get myself checked again, it's going to be even lower. So just like it helped me, it can certainly help you.
I want to see you chest up, shoulders back. I want to see you like really executing with the mind-muscle connection.
So what I do well is I get to the gym because I'm accountable, I have a trainer, and I know I'm supposed to be there. Whamae gave me tools, and what I learned is that I should be eating 3 times a day, and I should be snacking in between those meals.
During the process of working with Whamae, so many times we've had people come up and just tell us how the effect of things that they've been able to watch and see, from her fitness videos to her reels to her motivational to her daily prayers. That's just such a wonderful thing to see your friend do.
And then the second element is Power Juicers. Power Juicers is where all of our nutritional tools are within this portal. So we teach people how to go through 3-day, 7-day juice cleanses like I did when I had the cyst on my ovary. And then we also partnered with a superfood company that allows us to get juiced when dehydrated superfoods from farmers, all organic. The goal is to get pesticides out of our gut as well as parasites. We've got to cleanse, we've got to detox. So our clients are tapping into that portal, getting all the education they need. This is also where our naturopathic partnerships exist. So our clients can do blood work, food sensitivity testing, as well as have discount access to our naturopathic network, specifically our wonderful partner, Dr. Izawine Ahogotu of Royal Healing ND. And then the last aspect of the E3 Club is personal development. I'm looking for the people who say, I want a healthier family. And where I'm at right now, we're going through the McDonald's line every day because that's how crazy my life is. Reel me in. I've got children that are watching me. I've got a spouse that's along with me. So I work with a lot of families in helping them really get an establishment of health and wellness, fitness, movement in their homes. And I also work with high achievers, entrepreneurs, which is my passion. I want to work with the entrepreneur that recognizes I cannot build what I'm building if I am not well. And so we have a platform called Fit for Branding within the E3 Club, and this is our entrepreneurial hub. This portal has all of the tools an entrepreneur needs to get ready for this branding shoot like today, right? You gotta get ready, your skincare, your hair care, your cleansing, everything you need, everything in there, all sorts of partnerships. Also within our personal development part of the E3 Club, we have Age with Grace, which is a platform for those coming into the second half of life.
One thing that I've learned working with Whamae is that we've got to be consistent. It's like, this is what we better do. We got to figure out a way to keep ourselves moving, stay active, and engaged.
Who wants to give up on life? I don't. I'm just getting started.
I truly believe that, the things that we're working on together, we're collaborating on, is far bigger than just a job, just a title, just a business. It truly has a call. We're going to leave an imprint, a bigger impact, a legacy in the world.
Whamae proved that true transformation happens only when exercise, nutrition, and mindset hum in perfect harmony.
The mind, the body, and the spirit and your soul are interconnected. As I've gone on this journey of being a minister and a holistic wellness and movement coach, I really see the synergy of that mind-body connection. We have to renew and we have to transform our mind in order to move into the true light of our purpose and our well-being.
Every obstacle she overcame turned into a lesson that now fuels the very core of her teachings.
The mark was birthed out of my personal journey and my struggles to find wellness, to find wholeness, to find the abundant life I knew deep down within belonged to me. And not only me, I discovered that it belonged to others. Whatever happened in your life was a part of the purpose. So if you look throughout my life, that trauma manifested in a lot of different ways. It started with my gut issues and my reproductive issues when I was 19. I was also diagnosed at that time with major depression. I felt rage on the inside of me. I felt anger all the time. I didn't have peace. And these things were literally coming out of me, right? The pain of what I experienced. Whatever the trauma is, whatever the issue is that has burdened your soul, you're going to have to face it. Look it head on. But I want to tell you that you don't have to face it alone. You can, number one, face it with God. You can face it with something that is higher than you. You need the faith. Even if it's the size of a mustard seed, it is going to begin to move those things out of the way so powerfully that you are going to be able to become a transformed individual. Going from pain to purpose is a transformative experience that has to happen in your life. There's absolutely no way. That transformation first begins by looking at what is the root of what's broken in me. Once you look at that root, you then recognize I need help. SOS, right? You start waving that white flag, like help me, I need help, I need some guidance. And trust me, the Most High will do everything in His power to get you that help and to walk you into your purpose. And then you become a light to others. The things that you see me doing right now at 49 years old is because I had to learn so much. If you're out there and you're taking those L's, they are not losses, they're lessons. And as long as you hold on to your why and you learn those lessons, you become even more powerful. Whamae Boayue was able to go from a child who had some broken experiences that were meant to define her and destroy her. She held on to her faith, she didn't give up, she continued on, and she built her legacy.